Hey, and welcome to this episode of Match Betting Uncovered, brought to you by ProfitDuel.
Yeah.
So you're likely here because you heard two words that, well, they just don't usually belong together. Guaranteed profit.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear that attached to online sports books, I mean, your internal skeptic just goes into overdrive, right? It demands proof.
And it should.
And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're doing a deep dive into the facts around matched betting, this strategy that people are calling a legitimate source of, like a consistent top-up income. We want to understand how it works, why it's even legal, and really why this is all possible right now in the U.S.
Yeah, and that skepticism is totally justified. In the
Right.
world of online side hustles, most of the promises are pretty hollow. But matched betting is different. It's different because it relies on, well, mathematical conversion, not just hoping you get lucky. So we're going to walk you through the whole framework. How did the U.S. market even open this opportunity up? What is the exact mechanism that guarantees you can turn these bonuses into actual profit? And what are the real specific risks you need to manage to actually be successful at it?
Okay, so let's start at the beginning then.
Mm-hmm.
The seismic shift that made this whole financial opportunity possible in the first place.
Yeah.
The legal foundation of sports betting here in the U.S.
Right. The foundation was really laid back in May 2018. That's when the Supreme Court lifted the federal ban on sports betting.
Which was huge.
It was a massive change. It was basically a green light for every state government to regulate and, launch their own markets. And the result has just been this huge boom driven by, well, consumer interest and states desperately needing new tax revenue.
And when you say a boom, you really mean like a feeding frenzy?
Oh, absolutely.
The U.S. sports betting industry brought in, what, $7.5 billion in revenue in 2022 alone?
Yep, $7.56 billion. And the momentum isn't stopping. I mean, experts are predicting that sports betting is going to be legal in something like 80% of U.S. states by 2025.
Wow.
And this expansion is so critical to understanding the opportunity. As more states make it legal, online sports books just rush in. They're often operating in, 30 or more states at the same time.
And people prefer to do it online.
Overwhelmingly. A July 2023 study found that almost 78% of people prefer online or mobile betting. So this whole battle for customers, for market share, it's being fought completely online with promotional offers.
Okay, so that brings up a good point for anyone who, travels or lives near a state border. If these rules are state by state, do I have to actually live in a legal state to get these promotions?
No, and that is a key detail that opens the door for a lot of people. You don't need to be a resident. You just have to be physically present inside the state borders where it's legal. The sports books, they use this pretty sophisticated geolocation tech, GeoComply is a common one, to make sure you are where you say you are. So if your phone is in a legal state, you're eligible, even if you just drove over the border for the afternoon.
And that's what fuels this golden opportunity we're talking about, is because these online sports books are in this like super aggressive fight for customers. So they're just throwing out these incredibly valuable sign-up promotions.
Exactly. They see these bonus bets as just a marketing cost.
A customer acquisition cost.
That's all it is. I mean, think about New Jersey. It's a pretty mature market, but it's still fiercely competitive. Right now, as we're recording this, New Jersey alone has 15 sports books offering sign-up bonuses. And altogether, that represents over $11,000 of basically risk-free cash you can unlock.
That's wild.
This huge volume of high-value welcome offers is like the entire fuel source for matched betting right now.
Okay, so let's pivot to the mechanism itself, because this is where we have to get rid of that biggest myth, that matched betting is gambling.
Right.
It uses the same apps, the same websites, but it's totally separate from luck. It's become a side hustle for thousands of people who have like zero interest in actual sports betting.
Precisely. The whole strategy is about eliminating risk. You do that by covering all the outcomes. So you're placing two bets on opposing outcomes for the same event. So one bet on the Celtics to win and one bet on the Mavericks to win. You've covered both sides.
Okay, hold on. So if I bet, say, $100 on the Celtics and $100 on the Mavericks, no matter what happens, I break even, right? Or I guess I'd lose a few dollars because of the sports books commission, the VEG. So my net result is zero or a small loss. Where's the guaranteed profit if I'm losing money just to place the bets?
And that is the essential question. That's where the math comes in. You are correct. That first step, what we call the qualifying bet, it does result in a small predetermined loss, usually just, 1 to 5% of your stake. But the whole point of that initial bet isn't to make money. It's just to unlock the really high-value promotional offer, the free bet or the bonus bet. That asset is where all the profit comes from.
Okay, so I've done my qualifying bet. I've unlocked, let's say, a $500 free bet. How do I turn that into like $400 of actual cash in my bank without gambling it?
This is the really crucial technical difference between using real money and using bonus money. When you use a free bet from a sports book, they only return the winnings if you're successful. They do not give you back the original bonus stake.
Oh, I see. So if I place a $500 free bet and it wins, I only get the profit. The $500 free bet itself just vanishes.
It vanishes, whereas if you used your own cash, you'd get the profit plus your $500 back. So to convert that free bet, you repeat the match betting process, but you need to do two things mathematically. First, you find a high odds outcome, something like 5.0 or 6.0, in decimal odds that maximizes the potential profit. And second, you calculate a new hedge bet on a different sports book to cover the other outcome.
So you're covering both sides again.
Again, by using those high odds and covering both results, you guarantee that one bet wins and the other loses. The winnings will come from the side where you use the free bet, and because that free bet stake isn't returned, the math works out. So you consistently convert 70 to 85% of that bonus value into withdrawable cash, no matter which team wins.
Wow.
That conversion is what makes it not gambling. It is pure mathematical value extraction.
That deep dive into the conversion is really key. So it's not just about covering your bases. It's about exploiting the structural difference in how sportsbooks pay out real money versus bonus money. You're basically doing a kind of calculated arbitrage using their own marketing budget.
Yeah.
And like we said, this isn't some weird niche hack. I mean, huge publications globally, like The Telegraph, The Guardian, they've all highlighted how legitimate this mathematical approach is.
Now, we should address the flip side. While this is very low risk when you do it correctly, it is a financial thing and there are risks. So we should be really clear on the three main areas where things can go wrong.
Let's start with the one you said was the biggest danger.
Yeah.
Human error. And, just saying don't rush isn't really enough. What are the specific mistakes people actually make?
The most common one and the costliest is misinterpreting the odds format. Mistaking fractional odds for decimal odds, or the other way around, it completely throws off your calculation.
Right.
Another big one is just forgetting to check the use bonus funds box when you place the free bet. So you end up using your own cash on a really high-risk bet by accident. Yeah. The way to mitigate that is to use checklists and, crucially, to always double-check your calculated stake against what you expect the outcome to be before you hit confirm.
That's a really practical warning. Okay, so the second risk is external. The constantly changing state laws.
This is really just a matter of diligence. You have to operate within the rules of your current location, always. The risk here is kind of twofold. First, new states might have, say, higher tax rates or different rules for bonus bets, and that can affect how profitable a strategy is. And second, the sports books themselves might change the terms of a promotion, like adding a minimum odds requirement or something. So staying updated is it's non-negotiable.
And finally, the third risk is maybe the most insidious one, the mental temptation to just break the system.
The temptation to gamble. Yeah. Matched betting works because you follow a very strict set of rules that remove the risk. You're using a risk-free strategy on a high-risk platform. If you get overconfident because you're winning and you decide to place a single unhedged bet, even a small one, you're gambling.
And you're no longer matched betting.
You're no longer matched betting. Discipline is the only way around this. You only place the calculated matched bets, nothing else.
Yeah.
You have to think of yourself as an extractor, not a gambler.
And focusing on that consistency and discipline is exactly how we should think about the earning potential, right? This isn't the get-rich-overnight thing, but it is incredibly lucrative for a beginner.
It is, yeah. Because of that flood of welcome promotions, you have this finite but enormous pool of bonuses to convert when you start. Our data shows the average U.S. matched bettor consistently pulls in a couple of $100s a month.
That's pretty significant.
It is. That covers the initial welcome offers, and then you continue on with what we call reload offers, which are the bonuses sportsbooks give to existing customers to keep them playing.
So a couple $100s a month, every month, for disciplined work is a huge boost. And I guess if someone really maximizes this, there's not really a cap on the profit, especially if you factor in all the reload bonuses or, affiliate programs to supplement your income.
The potential is really only limited by the number of active states and available sportsbooks, which, as we said, is still growing. But to get to that maximum potential, you have to eliminate that human error factor we talked about.
Right.
I mean, doing the manual math for those complex, high-odds conversions we discussed, it would take hours, and you'd just be inviting mistakes.
So success really hinges on minimizing the guesswork. How do the successful matched bettors streamline everything and get rid of that confusion?
They rely on specialized resources and software.
Right.
When you're dealing with dozens of sports books and odds that are constantly changing, doing it manually it's obsolete. The tools you need include up-to-date lists of all the sign-up and reload bonuses, customized calculators that already account for those stake-not-return free bets, and critically dedicated odds matching software.
Okay, and what does that odds matching software do that's so important?
It scans hundreds of available markets in real time across multiple sports books to find you the two specific odds that will give you the highest guaranteed profit or the lowest qualifying loss.
So it does the hard part for you.
It takes all the guesswork out of the equation. It gives you the exact stakes you need to place on each side. It basically turns a really complex math problem into just a series of efficient clicks. And that's the difference between making $50 a week and making $500 a week.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've established that matched betting is legally supported by current U.S. law, which has turned sports betting into this huge promotional battlefield. We've dissected the core mechanism. It's a mathematical process, an extraction of value that converts bonuses into guaranteed cash, separating it completely from gambling. And we've seen that the risks are entirely manageable through disciplined, software-assisted execution.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to consider. Given how fast U.S. sports betting is expanding, with those projections nearing 80% legality soon, this current environment of these huge, high-value sign-up bonuses. It's a temporary gold rush. It's fueled by intense market competition. So how quickly will the remaining states legalize it? And what does that mean for the future profitability of this side hustle as these massive sign-up bonuses eventually shrink or evolve into less generous offers? The window is wide open right now, but it won't be this wide forever.
That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.